Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today we're going to talk about the characteristics of an optimist versus a pessimist. The last few days we've been talking about optimism versus pessimism. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? The pessimist might say, oh, how dreary, it's raining. Whereas the optimist might say, thank goodness for this rain, the plants and the flowers need it, right? So let's take a look at a few of the differences between an optimist and a pessimist. So an optimist sees a problem as a challenge. They have a can-do attitude. They laugh and they smile frequently. They're always positive and upbeat. They have a happy disposition, right? They expect everything to work out for the best. And they're determined to succeed. A pessimist, on the other hand, they see a problem as a catastrophe. They question their own abilities. They don't laugh and smile much, and they have a negative, bitter disposition. They expect things to go wrong. They give up easily. So when I talk about these traits, I'm talking in generalities, obviously. Even though we're typically one or the other, an optimist or a pessimist, we are human. And so I'm sure that we go kind of back and forth depending on the situation or how we're doing that day, right? But that being said, we do typically lean towards one or the other most of the time. It's just kind of who we are, right? So how do you spot a pessimist? Well, typically you'll know a pessimist right from the start. Whereas sometimes, though, a pessimist's negativity might be a little bit more subtle. Sometimes it might take a little time to wonder exactly what it is about a person that makes you uneasy. Sometimes you don't always know, right? Sometimes a pessimist will come out blatantly and drop their negativity like a bomb, right? And other times you walk away feeling worse than when you first encountered the pessimist, but you're not really quite sure why. That negativity was maybe just under the surface or just subtle, right? A pessimist sometimes also uses sarcasm and wit to disguise their cynicism. They do jokes or whatever. And it may be a need for bolstering their own self-esteem to make those sarcastic comments under the guise of wit. But it's also possible that they're just pessimistic about everything in their life, theirs and yours and everyone else's. And so they just see that side, and that's where their humor comes from, right? So, on the other hand, then how do you spot an optimist? Well, when I talk about an optimist, I'm not talking about a Pollyanna type personality. Let's get that straight right now. Because a Pollyanna type personality, they see everything with rose-colored glasses. Everything is wonderful, right? Even the not so wonderful aspects of life. But an optimist is a little bit different. An optimist tends to have a more positive energy and a positive aura about them. Whenever you're around an optimist, typically you walk away feeling better than when you first encountered them. They are always finding the light side of things, and they're more jovial. They laugh and they smile more. Their humor is not attacking people, right? Even in the face of adversity, though, an optimist can say, look at this challenge in front of me. I can't wait to find a creative solution. Whereas a pessimist will waste time and energy complaining and whining and feeling sorry for themselves rather than look for that creative solution. So I know most of us want to be optimists, right? By nature, an optimist is kind of born with a positive, upbeat temperament, but it isn't necessarily how they're born. I think some are, but I think it also can come from a lovely upbringing, a genetic predisposition. Maybe they had a great childhood, or maybe all of the above, right? An optimist might also be just an ordinary person who chooses to be optimistic. It's a conscious effort, moment by moment in their everyday lives. They might be in tune with spirituality and consciousness, or they might be a seeker of knowledge and wisdom. So being optimistic is a possibility that he or she has created for themselves by making a conscious choice to do and be so. Hi, Denise. Good morning. Good to see you. So a pessimist might be aware of the power of the choice to change their attitude to a more positive demeanor, but they choose not to. They choose for whatever reason to stay where they're at, to remain the same. The sound of their own voice complaining and feeling sorry for themselves or getting attention for their woeful tales is enough to keep them satisfied. I know people like that. I bet you do too. And they're people I don't like to be around, to be honest. But you know what? Thankfully, optimism is a habit that we can learn. A pessimistic type personality can learn how to be optimistic and can put the practices of positive thinking to work in their lives. It's going to take some effort, but with a bit of effort and consciously choosing the lighter side of situations and circumstances, a pessimist can learn the skills and the habits and the traits of being more optimistic. They simply have to make that choice. They just have to choose to. They just have to decide that they're going to be more optimistic and then get to work and create that new habit because it really is more of a habit. And you know, habits take time to replace, right? They take time to create. So if this is you, if you're looking to be more positive, find someone who is a happy, always upbeat, positive person. Pay attention to these types of people because they're amazing teachers. While we might not always control our circumstances, we can control our mindset with the possibilities inside of the power of hope and optimism and positive thinking. We are always in control of our own mindset. That's the one choice that is always ours. That's the one choice we do have control over. Is it going to be easy? Well, no, probably not, right? It's a process. The key to work on is to work on getting better every single day, right? As long as you're working on it and growing, you're moving in the right direction. And that's really what our life is all about, right? Getting better every day. None of us are perfect. We don't want to be. I mean, well, it might be nice to be working towards it, but if you were already perfect, what would you have to work for, right? So, hey, so now I'd love to hear from you. Are you naturally a pessimist or an optimist? Have you ever even thought about it? I mean, what kinds of things help you to be more positive and be more of an optimist? So please get down in the comments and share your thoughts. I would love to hear your stories. Thank you, Denise, for being live with me today, and anyone else who might be live but just hasn't commented, and anyone who's watching the replay, I appreciate you. So go out there and have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.